Good morning, everybody. Sorry for walking a bit late. I thought it was more of a discussion, not any presentations on. Lot has been talked. Mr. Rao has sort of enumerated what is that we could bring to the business. Not only just Hyderabad, not necessarily Hyderabad, to India by itself. Because the Indian film industry is a very, very peculiar film industry. It's an industry only in the paper. It's a paper industry in that sense. The word is only used. No industry status as such has been given to us, or any other industry, what they get being an industry. I do not think that film industry enjoys it in that respect. So, when I said it's very peculiar, because it has a lot to do with how over many decades our culture has been evolved, and as a business platform, this is more of based on trust, based on individual associations, based on someone who is passionate about to do their work. So it's quite different from how Hollywood functions. When Aluj may be able to elaborate. If you look at Indian film industry, whether it is Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam is a bit different actually. Hindi, there are families who has been in the business. Those families have brought in new ideas. Those families have brought in people who are the face of certain time, certain era, and it's continuing. So at one level, it is a family-oriented business, and on the other level, especially in the last one decade, the studios have come into the industry, and they sort of corporatized a lot of Indian film industry's work. I can very convincingly talk about Hindi cinema, not necessarily the regional cinema, but they are still coming in. That I would say we have to be a little careful about them. What happened in the last decade, especially in the Indian film industry, I'm talking about Hindi cinema, close to 10,000 crore the studios have pumped into the business. And a fair share of that money, I would say about 80% of that money, has gone into the actors. So the 20% of the money is being invested into the actual business. When I say actual business, in terms of developing content, in terms of developing technical talent, in terms of conceiving a project which would fascinate its people and which would fascinate the rest of the globe. And I can say in the last one decade, IIFA being a brand by itself has been able to take Indian cinema to the rest of the world. When I say Indian cinema, Hindi cinema to the rest of the world. And we have seen a tremendous growth in the business of Hindi cinema in the overseas market. A fair share of money comes from overseas market. A film like Bajwa Bastani, for example, has crossed over 100 crore from the overseas market. So when we look at that aspect, you also have to understand what the Hollywood cinema is doing within the industry, to our industry. Let me tell you a few examples. When Avatar released in India, it has had a collection of about 58 crore from the Indian market. So we have to understand that a Hollywood film has come in and taken 58 crore resources of this country without spending a single penny in the making of the film. From Avatar, when we come to Fast and Furious, from 58 crore, it gone to 138 crore. And they have not spent a single penny in the making of that film within this country. So we as content makers, we as people who are in the business, have to think large. This is going to continue, and there is a trick by which they have achieved this. When we made PK, a film called PK, you all may be aware of its highest grosser in Indian market. We have released about 6,500 prints in the all over the market. So we are able to generate. So what happened is that what happened to the business, especially in the last 2 years, has become a weekend business. You know, you are able to rake in the moolah in the first 3 days. The 3 days is going to decide the fate of the film. So you have to expand. You have to expand at a faster pace to recover your money. And there are exceptions to this. For example, a film like Bahubali is a huge exception to this. I'm not talking about a sporadic exception of that kind. But the businesses in India, the business come to that level. So, and how do we generate this much business, like without having so much exhibition system in the country? The number of people that we have and the number of exhibition system that we have doesn't match compared to the US or compared to China. China in the last 2 years have tremendously grown their exhibition centers so that the business can grow like a faster pace. But China also has done a very smart thing. They have brought in a restriction that they cannot release more than 20 films, foreign films in a year. So what they have done is, if you look at the onslaught of the onslaught of Hollywood, what it is doing. Hollywood, you know, as we look at Hollywood, always stands for technical fineness, always stands for standards. We look at them as standards. You know, they are setting standards, they are following standards, and what they do is what we aspire to do from a very practitioner's point of view. So when it came to Fast and Furious, what they have done is, all the studios have a certain set rule that they will not release a Hollywood film in India if the film is not being able to project in a 2K projection, you know, in J2K format, in 2K projections, which means only multiplexes which has film-like projection, 2K quality projection, can only release those films. But if you look at our fair share of business comes from B centers and C centers, where the single cinemas are running. Indian cinema is basically, even today, the spinal cord of our business is our single screen audiences. And the single screen audiences, single screen exhibition systems are considered to be, are not necessarily J2K projection. Most of it, majority of it. So this goes against the rule of the Hollywood studios. So when it came to Fast and Furious, what they have done is, this I feel, as a practitioner, is a dangerous trend. What they have done is they just unlocked one valve of their technical standards. They ticked off the J2K projection quality standards of their films. So they were able to release Fast and Furious to a far more number of theatres, over 2,500 films they were able to release at one go, and they were able to collect 130 crore. Now this is going to happen over and over and over. And this is going to eat up our resources, our internal domestic resources, over and over and over, unless we are very careful as business community, as people who be part of the business and people who are looking at cinema as an exposition of artistic and self-expression. So we are going to face a huge challenge in the years to come from them. The difference of Hollywood studios, how they are functioning in India and how they are functioning abroad within their own land, is hugely different. No studio in India functions with the philosophy they functions in their homeland. They would want to come here, they would want to still make a film which is run of the mill. They would throw their money across the table to an actor and sign them up at very high prices, which an independent or a normal producer, what we call those people who are actually behind content, people who actually support new talent, people who actually back, new thought, they wouldn't be able to function, within the sphere of the business that they're planning to run. And I can say with conviction that none of the studios who have come to India has supported content like the way, maybe one exception, content like the way their counterpart has supported content within the Hollywood sphere of things. You know, there is a star system. Even the star system is mitigated if you have a good content that comes to us. So within this global scenario where the business is moving in, where the technical standards have been compromised for a larger pie, and we still are majority of our filmmaking comes from the dance drama tradition, which is our cultural ethos. How do we tackle this? How do we survive as an industry in the long run within the onslaught of very high quality product coming in at a very, very cheaper price to us? I think we as a community have to come together, have to ideate, have to discuss because this is going to affect our functioning in the long run, and identify what is our strength. I think our strength is our audience. Our strength is we are still are able to catch the imagination of our audience with our own stories. If you look at Indian cinema, we can put our hands on our chest and still we can count the number of original films that are coming out, number of original content being experimented within the mainstream cinema. You can count in your fingers. That is how our business is moving. And screenwriting as an aspect. If you look at Indian cinema, very, very, like I said, it's very, very peculiar in nature. There are people who were the initial practitioners of cinema. They were all literary figures. Artists of a very, very high order, whether it is writers, whether it is musicians, whether it is actors and directors. They were of a very, very different genre of people. They were serious writers, and filmmaking or film writing for them was an extension of their literary work, which is quite different now in today's scenario. And so you don't have content that stands the test of time. If we want to sustain our business, we need to seriously invest our focus and our energy to content that stands the test of the time. And second major aspect that I would feel is that we have an enormous potential of human skill. Enormous. When I say enormous, it is unheard of in the global business marketing scenario, and we are very, very bad in tapping it. The technical excellence of our people, our youngsters, are far superior. Our ability to grasp things, our ability to understand softwares, our ability to turn it around, our ability to do time-bound work, if we've been given the right direction and right sense of leadership, is far, far superior than anybody in the rest of the world. We have not been able to tackle it. We have not been able to channelize it. So technical excellence is one thing that we can cash it on. If you look at IT industry, how they have grown, been contributing like billions and billions of dollars to the Indian economy is through this one single aspect. But we as an Indian film industry have not been able to tackle it. And there's a huge need of technical excellence and a huge need of technical skill across the globe. And that's one major aspect that we can focus. And this is, I'm saying, not just an aspect of Hyderabad. I would say it is very, very peculiar to Indian cinema. And I think to be able to attract work and to be able to bring in investment to the country and grow our business, I think these are the key areas that we need to focus. And on that note, I conclude. Thank you very much.